So, what did I think about Snoop Dogg saying that Kendrick Lamar was the king of the West? Well, if you're talking about this era, for your era, you can make a case. If you're talking about all time, you out your natural mind. And Snoop is trying to be humble and sly because he knows he can get maybe a catch record with him. But Snoop's not in a position anymore where people are going to care about his records in being a 50-year-old. It's not the same. Growing up on 90s hip hop, 80s hip hop, late 70s hip hop, 00s hip hop, 11s hip hop, Kendrick Lamar is talented and for his era. But I'm not gonna lie, he would, and I'm just talking about West Coast in the 90s, he wouldn't have been too good. His cadence is cool for his time. But in the 90s, heck no. He have no flurry like no Ice Cube. No, come on now. Much as not like us is catching all that. It ain't no Vaseline. I mean, Cube knocked a whole group out. Knocking Drake out and knocking NWA with a powerhouse like Dr. Dre, who ironically was on stage with Kendrick, the start of the LA Juneteenth thing last week, is not the same. Cube was like a bowling ball who knocked pins out, and he came up with a fiery album. He worked with the East Coast Bomb Squad, was doing it. Jerry Curl era Cube ain't being Kendrick will never see that. He ain't seeing Tupac when Pac was rolling in the West. That's obvious. Those two are obvious. He's not seeing Snoop. Snoop came out with that voice, that cadence. Snoop's style was cold. So that's not gonna happen. Now you might say, okay, how Kendrick might fare up against how would he have fared up against? Let's see. Who could I say he could have fared up against? Would he have been able to hang with Warren G? That'd have been a toughie. That would have been tough. That would have been tough on its own. You know, maybe against Corrupt. That's tough too. You know. Depends on what part of Cali you in. Because I don't think because E40's fans were loyal. That's gonna be tough too, believe it or not. MC8, that would have been some fire. I don't know. So say the king of the West, you're generalizing that all these cats who were in their peak that era was strong. So I don't think he would have definitely. I don't think he would have came out of that one too cool. But for his time, let's just keep him to his time. Let's keep him to his time. Because I don't think Kendrick would have been able to hang with Sugar Free back in the day. I'm just going to keep it 100. There's a lot of the West Coast cats that were no joke. That they, battle rap, battle tested. But for his era, let's just keep it in the presence. But to say that you the king of the West, that's saying that you had records that would have hung with back then and you'd have hit consistently. He's had a successful career. But those guys were taking names. They were not only battling in the West, they were battling for respect across the land because the West was seen as a laughingstock, a Jerry Curl synthesizer, P-Funk riff until those guys made such inroads that you could not deny it. You could not deny that the West Side was bringing it. So I don't know. I don't think he would have been able to crack top 5 in the 90s. But now, because it's so watered down, and it ain't but a handful of cats that's really bringing it, and he's good, and I like some of the stuff he do, but I'm not going to sit here and put no crown on your head. You would not have been the same artist back then. You got some people, like including the Game, who think they better than you now. And I think Kendrick can take the Game. But the Game could give him a little bit of a run. But those guys back then, nah, you ain't top 5 back then. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. I'm out. Peace.